Hello guys, welcome to Selenium with Java January 2023 batch online training session 4. So in the first Java session, right, yesterday session you already seen, right, the importance of Java, importance of the main method, SYSO method, right, what is the data type, variable, local variable, static variable, class variable, and different array concept, string different method for the string class, right, and different for loop, while loop, and do while loop, and how you can control this loop with the help of break and continue keyword. Today's session you can learn the conditional statement. In case I am talking about the conditional statement, there are 5 statements will come under the conditional statement: if else, nested else if statement, or if else if ladder, sometime it is called switch statement. Then we will talk about the method and constructor, and I will discuss here the importance of the wrapper class, date and calendar function. Then in the last two topics we will see, right, what are the exceptions might come in your code, and how with the help of the Java try catch and finally block we can handle those exceptions. So conditional statements are used to control the flow of the program and insert verification point and error handling. So in case you are using Selenium WebDriver, definitely there is a framework available, JUnit or TestNG, where assertion will be there. So through which we can verify the expected and the actual outcome, right? But still, with the help of if-else loop or the conditional statement, right, you can still, right, manually verify your expected and the actual result. So there are 5 types of conditional statement available in Java: if statement, if else, else if statement, or if else if ladder, nested if else, and switch statement. So when we will be using the if statement? So in case you need to just verify that your certain condition is, right, true or not, then you can use you can use if statement. So if statement is used only to specify a block of Java code to be executed if the condition is only met. So we'll go to Eclipse here. So this is the new class created, session 4. So how we can define the if statement? So this is the syntax: if condition and then statement. Suppose say I want to validate whether any person is adult or not. Okay, so first I will define the data type, then I will define the variable. Suppose age is my variable, and I can define some value, suppose say 30, right, and then I can give some condition if. So I am just going as per the syntax here, guys. Condition, right? This is the first step. If I am defining the variable and value and the data type, here I am defining the condition if that variable greater than 18. So in case 18 age is greater than 18, then what is happening? I can print it out, right? The person is adult. So I can check it. So here definitely it is greater than 80 age, whatever you have defined. Now if you run your code, so it will pass because the condition is met here, or condition is true. So that is, there is an outcome is coming. It is displaying person is adult. So that is called if statement, only if, right? If statement. But in case this condition is not met or false, then what will happen? Suppose say in case it is 10, if you running your code, what will happen? It will not display anything. So that is the problem, right? It is only satisfying in case your condition is true, but for the false it is not satisfying. So what we can do, we can append here else condition as well, else part. So in case positive, it will go to the if part or true. In case it is false or negative, then it will go to the else part. So here I can append the else. So if and else. So here I can print out like person is not adult. So that is the way. It does not matter whether condition is matching or not, it will still execute it, the else part. So that is the way if else will work. So if only, in case you know that your condition will match always, then you can go with the if. But in case you do not know the expected one, right, whether the condition is match or true or false, then you can go with the if else. So that is the way you can verify easily, right? Whatever value you are giving it, that will work. In case you are giving, suppose say 40, it will still same way work, person is adult. Okay, so that way you can overcome the challenges of the if with the help of the else part. So An if statement can be followed by an optional else statement. Else statement is used to specify a block of code to be executed if the condition is not met or false. Then before going to the else if statement, I will show you the nested if else, right? So say here I will tweak something. Okay, so in case age is greater than 18, right, the person is adult. Okay, that is the part. Okay, here I can give one more condition. Okay, so I'll be giving another if. I can give another age greater than 25. Okay, so what will happen? So I'll be tweak it output also a little bit. The person is adult to cast vote and can contest election, right? So you know the in case person is 18 years old, so he is called as an adult and he can cast his vote any election, right? Any country. But for few countries the norm is that you can cast your vote, but only in case you are fulfilling some age like 25 age, then you can also contest the election. So that is the another condition I am giving. So this is the if, and within the if I am giving if and else. So that way it is called nested if else. In case age greater than 18 but not greater than 25, so person is adult to cast vote but cannot contest election. Cannot contest election. Yeah. So what will happen? And else part will still same, because else part I am again also else part will not same. So if part I am giving another if within a if, just kind of a room inside a flat like that. So this is your block and this is your flat. So suppose say in block there are 20 flat, right? So in case your block is A, B, C, D, E, F or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then you can go to the particular block. And if you go to the block again, but your objective is to find such particular room, so if you can give another nested if else condition. So here, so once age is 18, greater than 18, so definitely it will discard the else part. But as and when the condition 18 is matching, so immediately it will again try to jump the other if and else part. So once greater than 18, it will check whether greater than 18 but whether it's again greater than 25. In case greater than 25, the person is able to cast his vote as well as can contest the election. But in case age is greater than 18 but not greater than 25, means maybe 24, 23 like that, so that will be the outcome. Now if you run it here, so for the 40, what will happen? You could see the output will change. So for the 40 is greater than 18, so definitely that part will be ignored initially. No need to worry about that part. So after that you will go to the within that if and else part. So again in case it is greater than 25, so the if part will be executed, if within the if. So you could see the person is adult to cast vote and can contest the election, and else card will be discarded because that condition is matching if part. Now if you give 20, so what will happen? So age greater than 18, so definitely it will go inside the if else. But age is not greater than 25, so it will go to the else, directed to the else part. So that is the way now that part will be executed, else part will be executed. So it is called nested, right, if else, or if else if ladder. Sorry, not if, nested if else. Yeah, you can see the person is adult to cast vote but cannot contest election. Now if you give 10, so simply that condition is not matching, immediately it will go here, so that will be discarded. So now it will go to the directly outer else part. Okay, that is called outer and that is called inner or nested if else. You could see the person is not adult, so definitely there is no point of casting the vote, forget about the other part. So that way you can deal with the nested if else, if and if else statement. Okay, next one is if else if ladder. So why if else if required? Okay, sometimes you need to check multiple condition, not only one specific condition. Okay, so you need to check multiple condition. So then one if else will not be satisfied or not be certified, right, or not be able to check those particular condition. Suppose say everybody is going through the academic career, right? Whatever university or school, right? That does not matter. So some every or school or university will be having some right pattern, right? Grade pattern, right? A, B, C, D, A plus, B plus. It vary, but I'm just giving a simple example. So suppose say in case you are giving some percentage, so you can pass. After that, you can go to grade B, C, D, A like that. So how can you check it? So simple if else will not be satisfied. So you need to use else if statement or if else if ladder. So you can give condition first if, then else if, then again else if, and at the last you can go give the else. So first it will check if, then second else if, then third else if, fourth else if like that, and the last it will go to the else part. So I will try to just demonstrate one simple example of the if else if ladder. So suppose say I am just creating a variable called integer marks equal to, say I am giving any value, say around 768, and here I will be demonstrating that if else part. If that variable getter equal to 30, right, and an variable less than 45, so person will passed, right. So I can consider that student got average marks, or I can consider as a grade D. Okay. Now similar way, here instead of else you need to give else if, because it will go for other else also, other if, right. Else if getter equal to 45 or marks less than 60, right, person got good mark, okay, grade C. So here I can give getter equal to 60 and less than 80. So person got very good mark, grade B. And hey, in case person get greater than 80, means it can go up to 100. So person got excellent mark, grade A. But I did not define in case it is less than 30 or any other thing, right. So here I can, at the end I can give else. So no need to give any condition, else person failed, invalid grade. Okay. So that is the way you can just create your if else if ladder, right, or else if. This is called sometime else if or if else if ladder. So first condition it will check, then second, then third, fourth, like that, and last it will go for the else part. Now if you run, so based on the condition it will just display the result. So 68 will fall here, right. So it is coming, you can see get B. Now if you give it 88, so it will come here greater than 80. You could see grade A. In case you are giving 28, so it is below 30. So it will go to the last part, else part, invalid grade. You could see this is coming in the last else part. So that way you can just work with the if else if ladder or else if statement. So the last conditional statement is called switch statement. So these are the first already covered: if else, nested if else, and else if or if else if ladder. and switch one also the conditional statement. A switch statement allows a variable to be tested for equality against a list of values. So in the framework you will see how we can use the switch statement, okay, because that part will be implemented in the framework. That is the reason it is having very importance, right? So you need to learn those concepts from the Java. Each value is called a case, and the variable being switched on is checked for each case. The switch statement can work for short, integer, long data type character. The case value must be unique. In case duplicate, it will throw compilation error. Each case statement can have a break statement, which is optional. You already see the break statement in the loop, but in the switch statement also you can use the break. When control reaches to the break statement, it jumps the control over after the switch expression. If a break statement is not found, it executes the next case. So how we can write the switch statement? Suppose say you are uh, studying in the say higher second, I mean in the school, right? So your school is from 5 to 10, say. So you can give some condition. The class will be a variable. So I can create a variable first, then I can go to the switch case. So say integer student class. In case you are studying in the lower one, so it will be again KG1, LKG, UKG, standard 1, standard 2, 3, 4. But in case you are going to the school, right, from where 5 to 10 again, and 11th standard, 12th standard again, you can go to the college, right, where you can have your BTech, right, first year, second year, third year, fourth year, and 8th semester. That way it will depend. So I am just giving, suppose the integer, I can give something called 7, 7th standard. So in the high school it may be only 6th class, 5 to 10. So how can I drive the switch statement? So switch is the keyword. Okay, you can see the color is getting changed, guys. So whatever keyword is coming from Java, the color will be automatically changing here. And here you need to pass the variable, because student class. Then you can give bracket. Then here you can give your case. So case is 5. It is starting from 5. Then here you can give the output or the statement. So student belong to class 5, right? Here I can give break. I will let you know what is the importance of break here. Now similar way you can create the other one. Case. So you could see some error is coming, because why? Because it is your duplicate. Okay, so you could see error message is coming. Why? Because duplicate case cannot be duplicated. So I can go give here 6 standard, 7 standard, 8 standard, 9 standard, and then 10 standard. So that is my objective, right? So that is the 6th case I want to validate. So similarly I can update it here. 6, it will be 7, it will be 8, it will be 9, it will be 10. And apart from that you need to give default. So in case nothing is matched, it will go default. Student does not belong to class 5 to 10. So it can be upper class or lower class, or maybe invalid class, right? So that is the way you can go. So after default, no break is required, because that is your last statement, default case. So now if you run it, you could see based on your case match, it will display the result. You could see. So here it is 7 value. So it will go here case 7 and it will print out the value. You could see that is value is getting printed here. Similarly, if you go here 10, so that value will be printed here. You could see class 10. If you give it 1, because that is not matching to the any case, so it will go to the default. You could see that is the default is coming, right? Now why the break is required? Yesterday I told, right, why the break is required, because in case your condition is matching, you don't want to reiterate it. So for the for whenever you use the for statement, right, as and when you are breaking it, so loop is getting terminated immediately. Here also similar way. In case it is matching, immediately that part is getting printed, and immediately your code is stopping it here. It is getting terminated from the switch statement. But in case you remove the break, what will happen? Though your condition is matching, till it will go to the remaining step, because there is no break. You are not breaking your switch. So suppose say here I am removing the break or commenting out the break, right? I am commenting out the break here. I am commenting out the break here. Now say I want to match with 6. So what will happen? You could see. So only it should display here, right, that part. But as there is no break available, it will still display till try to execute until any break is there. So here it is break is, it will stop. But in case you are removing the break, again the remaining line will be displayed in the console. Let's try to run it. So you have removed couple of break. So what will happen? Output you could see here. That is the way break it all should be there always in the switch statement for each case. So here it is matching here. So immediately that is being displayed, but that break part I have removed it or disabled it. So again that part is executed. Again there is no break. Again it is executed. Again no break. Again it is executed. And here break is there. So this is getting out, right? Loop is getting terminated, or switch is getting. Again if you give break, again if you give break, so now you could see the difference again. It will try to execute all the remaining cases as well, because there is no break at all. You could see. So it is going to the last default one because there is no break at all. So in case your condition is matching, still there is no break, so it will try to execute the remaining line of code, and any relevant thing is there, it will print it out, or it will try to perform the operation. So that is the reason for every case you should always give the break. So your case should be always based on your data type. Whatever variable you are defining the data type, it should be based on that. And here the variable will come under the switch, and whatever cases you need to generate, so based on that one you can create your case. In case you need to go for 1 to 12, you can give 12 cases, right? It will depend based on a requirement. So that is the way you can try to develop your switch statement. So that is really important in case you are having multiple condition, right? But based on the case, right, your match should your code should match, and automatically it should perform the relevant step, then you can use it. But generally for every cases we should end with break, so that automatically your condition is matching, immediately it will be terminated. So that is the reason. Otherwise, in case you are not using the break, so automatically the remaining line of code will be also executed. That is the problem. So always every case should be surrounded with a break. Okay, I will take a pause here. So any questions from this conditional statement, 5 conditional statement, guys? Is it clear? Yeah. No, it is just I'm given the printout here, but actually in the real time, why it will be using. Suppose in the framework, you need to check whether your element is matching with ID, link text, or partial link to all the element locator. Here we will be using a switch statement, and you will give all the condition like all the element locator, right? And then once your element locator is matched and that particular condition, right, find element by dot link, by dot ID, it will be click. So in that way, right, I will be using that switch statement, so that I will create 8 case, and I will try to match that what element it is exactly matching. So automatically it will call that method, right? In case it is matching with ID, so it will call find element by dot ID, and then value will be there. So you can learn in the framework part, but here just I have tried to keep the output so that you can easily understand now for now how it is working, the break and the switch statement is working with the break. So that whenever I'll be covering that framework, then it will be able to interlink how this Java concept is really you are implementing in the framework as well. Any other question, guys? Okay. So this is the another example I have given. You can try that one. Similar way. So switch is kind of parallel to the if else if ladder, right? Or else if. So next is Java method. So in the first session you already see the method, right? How we are creating the method. Java first session. So that is the method we have created. Mm. You create one method, right? The test method for declaring the class variable, global variable, all this stuff. Okay. So we'll show you how to what is the importance of the method. So a Java method is a set of statements that are grouped together to perform an operation. Whenever user want to perform any operation multiple times, we will be creating the method. Method is sometimes called as reusable component in the framework. But in Java, methods are called sometimes as functions. Basically, in the Java, there are two categories of methods available. One is built-in method. So string method you already seen, right? Whatever compared to ignored compared to right the length is empty, all this stuff, contents. So these are the already built-in method from the string class. So if I talk about the Selenium WebDriver, right, you already getting the method called find element, right, then quit, all these method, divert.get. So these are the method coming from the WebDriver interface. So similarly here in Java, this forget about the Selenium part for now. In Java there are built-in methods available, lot of in the string method and date and time methods. Date and time method will be covered in today's session only. And the second one is user-defined method, where there are two category again. Method with returning value, it will return the value. The return value means it will return the value as a data type. And one is without returning any value. So why method is required? So let's try to understand first. Okay, then we will go to the method whatever we can create manually by our own. It is called functions, or in the framework it is called reusable component. What is the objective? So that I will write it only one time and I can access them any number of time without writing the so many line of code again and again and again. So suppose say I want to print out something, say hello Java. Okay. So these are a couple of lines, right? I have written 7 lines. Okay. Today that is your requirement. You have to write hello Java 7 times. So you'll be writing like that, and you can, if you run it, you can just run it. Okay. And tomorrow your requirement is getting changed, and your organization, your customer is saying that instead of hello Java, you write hello Java hyphen test. So what you need to do, everywhere you need to update it. So here you know 7 thing is there. So that is the reason you can go manually and you can update it. But sometimes human being we can forgot somewhere, right? I have some intentionally forgot it, or maybe you have forgot one. In case it's 100, definitely you can forget, or you can do some mismatch, right? You can, instead of test you can provide test 1, and one part you did not update it at all. So that is the problem might happen. Now if you print out, you could see the problem will come in the two places, because one place you did not forget to update and one portion you have updated to the other part. You could see that is not updated and that is updated different value. So that the problem might come. In case same thing you need to repeat it multiple times, and same thing need to change it multiple times. So to avoid this thing, we can write a method. So method will come into different way. One is user defined method will come into different category. Method with returning value, method without returning value. So I will try to here, for that code I will try to write a method. Okay. So here I will try to write a method called, so how can write a method? You need to give the access modifier. It is publicly accessible in the class level. You need to define the method at the class level. So public return type here without returning means void because it will not return anything. Then I can suppose give and write hello Java. That is my method name. Okay, that is the way you can write the method. And same line you can just print it here. So now method is done. Okay, then how can I call the method? So just comment out all your line. So I need to create a object first. Equal to new class. Then with the object I can call the method hello Java. So automatically that part will be printed. Now if you want to use it for 7 times, just 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now if you run it, so automatically you could see that, right, you just need to update it only one places. So automatically all your thing will be updated. Now tomorrow your customer is again saying no, just remove it to remove the test part and go to hello Java. Okay, so I will update only one place. Here I am not touching my code. Wherever that hello Java program is getting called, hello Java method is getting called, I am not updating. I am only updating my method. Okay, so now you could see that is the beauty of the method or functions. Automatically everywhere it will get updated, right? You could see in case it is called in 200 place everything will be updated. Now again tomorrow your customer is saying instead of hello Java, right, mention hello Java and give the something called hello Java. Here you can give something called Selenium purpose, Selenium training purpose, something, anything you can write. Okay, so you are updating only one place in the method body. Automatically all your relevant, right, places wherever the method is getting called will be updated everywhere. So that is the beauty of the method. So it is called without returning any value because it is void. Access modifier, this is called return type. This is the method, first bracket, and then within the second bracket you need to give the body. Okay, now we'll create one more method where you can define, right, have the return type. So say no need to give return type anything, I'll be just giving the access modifier public. So how the return type will come, I'll let you know. Then method name, suppose say I want to add, right, this is my method, I want to add to variable. Okay, then you can pass as an argument as well, integer a comma integer b. So this is the type, data type, and this is called argument. Okay, and similar way here. And now you can create one more variable called integer c or integer d equal to a plus b, and you can print out the value. Okay, return, because it will return the value of d. Okay, because it is summing a plus b and it returning d. So returning d means what is d? So d is integer type, right? So here you need to give the return type. So instead of void you will be giving the return type called integer. That is the reason way you can create your method with return type. So initially no need to write the return type, but based on the program how it is behaving you need to. So here it is returning d. What is d? D is integer variable, returning it. Now you can call it. So in case returning, so you need to print it out here. So I will be creating object dot add. So during runtime you can give the value. So my intention is to add 20 and 30. So why the method is required? Suppose say I need to add 5 different entity. So I am creating one method and I am calling it 5 times. So here I can change the value, anything, 70, 40, it will be definitely integer. So here again another thing, same thing like 100, 10 and 300. So that is the beauty, one method but it is behaving based on a requirement. Okay. Now you could see same method, we are creating multiple, I mean we are creating one object, but we are utilizing it for different variables value. So you could see that it is coming also accordingly. Now the beauty is that method also can be changed based on a requirement. Suppose say tomorrow instead of 2 variable, right, you might need to add 3 variable. So you can change the argument here. Another argument you can add it, and here you can just sum it. Same method, or you can create a new method as well. So you could say now error is coming because your method is should be having 3 argument, but here it is 2 argument. So you can give one more argument. Okay. In case you do not want to give the third argument, or you need to give it 0. Otherwise, you can create one more new method. So that part I'll be covering in the Java ops concept, how we can overload the method. Same method we can, right, go with the different argument or the different signature. That will be covered in the upcoming Java ops concept, method overloading. So that is the way you can create your own customized method. So beauty of the method or function is that it will be called multiple times, but you will be writing it once and you will be using it as many number of times as required. And here this is called argument, because I am not hard coding it. I can hard code it also, not be a problem, but I am not intentionally should not hard code in the real time, so that during runtime you can give your detailed value. So that way it will help you to save lot of time, right, to avoid any kind of discrepancy, any kind of error, because I'll be writing it only one time and I'll be using it and in n number of time. That is the concept of method. So built-in string part you already seen, and date and time methods you will be seeing today. And this is the way user defined method I can create. One is method with returning value, one is method without returning value. Any questions, guys? Because this is very very important from Java topics, method or functions. Yeah, I think some questions someone ping. No, it can be created. I mean, that part will be covered in the upcoming session. The method can be created in the other class also. Okay. With the help of inheritance property, I can call that class and then I can use that method as well. Okay. It does not matter that on single class you need to create the method. You can create the method in the other class. In the real-time framework, I will not create the method in the same class. I will create any class. And then that class I will be inheriting in the other class. So that way, right, parent-child mechanism, that is called. So child class also can access the parent class method. So their ops concept you need to implement. That is called inheritance. So that will be covered in the upcoming session, ops concept, in next session. Slowly it will be moved. Yeah. Slowly you will learn. Try to interlink your. I mean, you can get the clarity and your questions as well. Definitely, it's good questions. Yeah. Yeah, method can have same name but cannot have same signature. So that will be covered in Java ops concept. Method can have same name, but signature means that is the data type or the number of variable cannot have same. I can show you, not be a problem. Okay, but Java ops concept that will be clear. Here if you do it, it will throw the error. Okay, you could see. But if you give here, remove it, either signature or the data type, automatically it will work. Method can have same name, but this is called signature. Method signature. Signature has two components. One is called data type, one is called number of variable or argument. Okay. So that is called method overloading. Yeah. In Java ops concept you will learning it. This is called method overloading. This is part of Java polymorphism. Okay. Poly means many, form, I mean morphism means form, many form of a single method. Is it are you able to get your query resolution, Arthur? Okay. Any other question, guys? So in the real time, definitely, I mean, my method can have same. So I can work with 2 variable, I can work with 3 variable. Sometime I can work with different variables. Suppose say here, instead of your integer, you can work with double. So here you need to change 2 variable you can have, but you can change it to double, and you can change it to double. You could see that is the beauty. You could see the 2 argument, right? Here you need to change it to double. So that way your that is called polymorphism or method overloading. Anyway, that will be covered in the Java concept in the next session. So I'll be going to the next topics. Constructor. So you already learned about the method. So constructor is similar to method, but it is having some differences. But why constructor is required? Now here, as and when you are creating the method, right, you need to create the object or instance, then you need to call the method, and then only you are able to execute the code. But in the real-time framework, I will not be calling the all this stuff. I am creating the object, so I want to immediately call my method. So what can I do? So there is a solution called constructor. Okay, so let's comment it out. But constructor is some differences. It is similar to method, but some differences there. So constructor should have the same name as the class name. Okay, so that is the first thing. Constructor cannot have a return type. That is the second thing. So that is the only two difference. That is the questions or concept you need to be very clear. Constructor should always the same name as the class name. Constructor cannot have a return type. Okay. So constructor is a block of code similar to the method. It is called when an instance of the object is created and memory is allocated for the project. The purpose of the constructor is to initialize the object of a class, while the purpose of a method is to perform a task by executing Java code. In other words, constructor provides memory to an object. Without initializing an object, we cannot use its property. So every time you are using new keyword, you are creating object, every time your constructor will be called. So constructor or must have the same name of the class name. Constructor have no return type. So that is the main differences. So what is the constructor? So it is class and test, constructor body, but it should not have a return type. Here you could see this is your class name, this is your same class name, but you have return type, so it is not a constructor, it is a method. So I'll create a constructor. How can I create a constructor? So this is my method name, class name. So I'll be using only access modifier, public, but no return type. Void, int, double, nothing, no return type. Again same name. Here, then say I can print out something called SYSO, right? Say test constructor. Okay. Now you could see the beauty, right? This is your constructor, and same to class name. Now, in case you want to access the method, right? Any method, you have to again after creating the object, you need to call that method. But in case it is a constructor, as and when you are creating the object, immediately that constructor will be called. Now, we did not call the constructor, but still it will be called. That is the difference of the constructor. Immediately you could see some thing is coming, because as and when you are using the new keyword and creating an object, automatically your constructor will be called. Now if you create multiple times, multiple object 1, again that constructor will be called. So constructor, beauty of that, in the real time you will be creating a constructor of the base class during the framework development. So every time you will not be calling the method, instead of immediately just creating the new object or instance, so that automatically all the relevant code from the constructor will be called. That way you can save the time. Okay. So constructor can be overloaded. So here I can create one more constructor with the same name, but we need to change the signature. So here I can paste, I mean that is my constructor, I can paste, change some variables, so integer a, right? And here test constructor, and then I can concatenate with the a. So that is the way. Now here if I call it, so here I can pass some variable, right? 20. So that way it will segregate. So that is called constructor overloading. You could see that is getting based on the thing. So I have two constructor. So one is without any argument, one is with the argument integer a. So based on that one, it is getting executed. And here the two, whenever I have created two object, one I have passed the argument, one I did not pass the argument. So that, okay, accordingly it is working. So that is the way. In the upcoming videos, whenever I will covering the framework, then you can able to interlink the concept of the constructor method very, I mean, thoroughly. But now this is the high level concept of the constructor in Java. So that is the beauty. You no need to create the object, and again you no need to call that one. So automatically object is created, your relevant constructor will be called. So that is the way, right? It will save you or help you, because constructor means automatically it is saving some, I mean space. Yeah, yeah, Diksha, allocating the space. Hmm. Hmm, hmm, hmm. Yeah, 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 yes. No, it is behaving that way, right? So whenever you are creating the object, so you already know that what are the constructors available. So that is the way you can pass it here, right? In case you are not passing, so automatically that whatever argument is not there, that will be called. But here also, in case you are passing arguments, suppose say 20 and the next also 30, so that is your requirement, right? So that way, so it will be, you know that you have 5 different methods, right? So suppose say you are having 5 different food, okay, so 5 different restaurants, Chinese, right, in the same mall, right? Bengali, Punjabi, all this stuff. But your objective, you want to just for the particular day, you want to go to the Chinese food, so you will be entering the Chinese value details, okay? So that way you will be getting to the desired location. But it can have all the relevant kind of food related stuff in the same building. Okay, so based on the requirement, you will be just passing the argument, or that kind of relevant argument, or without argument as well. This is the example, so it will be you can get to know details in the framework part. Yeah, yeah, I think any other questions? Joyjit, your voice is breaking, not able to hear. Yeah, 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 yes. Hmm. Yes, 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 yes. Yes. Hmm. Yeah, yeah, right. Memory allocation means it will kind of automatically based on the constructor type you are creating automatically, right? In case you are just simply creating it, passing any integer argument. So based on the argument, it will create space of some memory, and in that memory automatically it will be stored. Just like, and then as and when you are creating the object, automatically from that memory it will be called. Kind of static memory, some spaces will be there. Memory means space. So that is the concept of the constructor. It will automatically create some space. No, 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 no. That is the difference, right? As and when you are creating a constructor, automatically that memory will be created. Free memory will be created. But for the method, right? Only just you are creating the method, right? But it is not creating any method memory. So that is the reason constructor will be similar to the, that static keyword, right? You already seen. Static means automatically memory is created. That is the reason with the help of the static you are not creating the object. Automatically you are calling that variable. Yeah, yeah, yes. Mhm. Yeah, few of the thing again it will be covered in the upcoming session, guys. No worry. So I mean that way slowly you will trying to interlink few of the concept definitely, but still in case you are having any question, I will try to solve those query. But yeah, down the line all the query automatically it will be solved. Okay, most of the query. Okay, but I cannot show you right now the framework, right? It will be very complicated. Okay, so few of the query you will be having and more clear during that session. Okay. Then wrapper class. So in the first Java session you already seen the data type like integer, double, float, character, all this stuff. But whenever you want to deal with the collection framework, so collection will be covered in the Java 4th session. Okay. So whenever you are dealing with the collection framework does not understand those primitive data type at all. So how? So what will happen? So you have to convert those primitive data type to wrapper class, which collection framework will understand. So in case you don't want to work with the collection framework, data type will be fine. But as and when you will starting working the collection framework, the collection framework cannot understand those data type concept. So you have to convert them to the wrapper class. So wrapper class is a class whose object wraps or contains a primitive data type. Wrapper classes are used to convert any data type into an object. The primitive data type are not object. They do not belong to any class. They are just data type. They are defined in the language itself. Sometimes it is required to convert data type into object in Java language. So wrapper class provides a mechanism to wrap primitive data value in an object so that primitives can do activities reserved for object like different collection framework like array list, linked list, hash set, hash map, all this stuff, tree set, all this stuff. So you will be learning that concept. So there are 8 classes of Java.lang package are known as wrapper class. So for character it will be character wrapper class, byte, sort, like that way. Okay. So here primitive data type are just the data type, but they are not as a object. But the collection framework only will understand the object or class concept. They will not understand any kind of data type concept. So that is the reason until you are converting those primitive data type in the wrapper class, it will not work in the collection framework. That is the reason you need to always convert those primitive data type to the wrapper class. Whenever I will be covering the collection framework, you could able to see that we will be not writing char, we will be writing character. Okay, we will be not be writing all this stuff double, it will be double. So that is corresponding wrapper class for those part. So let's see. I mean, this is the simple example I am giving here, but down the line, whenever I will be covering the collection, then you can able to get the more clarity. So I'm just simply declaring a variable integer a equal to 20. Now if you want to print out, so it will print the value a, but it is still a data type. It is not a wrapper class. Then how can I convert it to a wrapper class? So you could see this, for this integer there is a relevant wrapper class called integer. This is the wrapper class, right? So how can I create the object of any class? So say I am giving the object name called int object. That is the concept of the class and object, equal to new integer, right? So that is the concept of wrapper class. This is class and this is object. Here I can pass the variable. So automatically that variable will be converted to the object of the relevant wrapper class. Now it can work in the collection framework. Now if you print it out, it will still display the same value, but it is converted to the object in that relevant class. So that way you are converting it. So it will display both the way same value, but now it is object, not a simple data type. Okay. So that is the way. Suppose in case similarly, in case you are having something called double, say sorry, so not integer, double, like that, right? Then how can you convert it? So you need to call the wrapper class double here. You can pass the variable and then you can print it out. So now it is converted to the wrapper class. So that is the way you can convert that normal data type primitive data type to the relevant object of the relevant class. So that is the one of the importance of the wrapper class. Apart from that, there is some other importance is there of the wrapper class. So there are so many methods available in the wrapper class through which, right, some problem you can solve it out. Suppose say I am just creating a string variable str. Here I am giving, suppose say, only the numeric value, say 1000. Okay. Now I want to add Can you tell me what will be the output here? Give a try. Anyone? 1100 means 1100. No. Yeah, it will be 1000 and 100 because it will concatenate, right? It will concatenate. Append the value after that because it is type as string, not integer here, right? Though its value is integer, but type is string, so it will concatenate. But still, I define it as integer, but only the value is as a sorry, I have defined a string, but the value is integer. So how can I deal as a integer format? Then that question will come. Yeah, that is concatenated, right? Because based on the data type, it will do the operation. So in the wrapper class, there is a methods available, right? I can convert that string to the relevant integer value. So I will consider the integer class, call the integer class. Then if you press dot, there is a method available called parse int. You could see what is that, from where it is coming. It is coming from the integer class. What is the return type? It is integer. Here I can pass the string, so I'll be saving it now integer. So integer, say base int, right? Now if you do the same thing with the new variable, it will be 1100, right? So that is the way. Similarly, in case there is any double, so you need to call the double class, and there will be method called double, right? Parse double. So similar way. Suppose say now create any variable called double. Already I have created, right, that double variable. Okay, yeah, 1 second. Create any string variable s1 where you can give only double. So here you can convert it similar way. You can create something called okay, 1 second. You can call the double class, then parse double, where you can pass the string, and here it will be double type, so I can store it double d1. Then now it will work. Suppose in case you want to add 100, so it will work like that way. So that is the way. These are the methods will help also. In case you have already defined something as string, but it is only having the value called float, double or integer, then you can convert it to relevant, right, double or that data type, and then you can do the operation. So this is the another aspect of the wrapper class. So it is having two aspects. One, wrapper class is the class, so object will be there, object concept. But normal data type is a data type. This is not a object of any class. So you need to convert them to the wrapper class, so that way they can be linked with the collection framework. Another is that these are the different methods available in the wrapper class. You can I mean work accordingly for few of the concepts. Okay, I think someone raised hand or ping something. Yes, strike is out the concept of here. Okay, only that way it will be striked out. Okay, but I mean no proper justification. Still, I will see. I will check couple of stuff, but yeah, we'll see. But yeah, that is why it is converting. That is the way it is striking out. But other way, but still it is working. No need to worry. Okay, in the UI only it is striking out. Will still see why it is striking out. We'll see. Yeah, I think Diksha, you are have raised hand. Yeah, yeah. Yes, yes. Yeah, I will telling right. Whenever we will be creating the base class, okay. In the base class itself, we'll be creating all our code, right, for launching the setting up the driver, browser, all this stuff. So that in the base class, I'll be creating a constructor, and those line I'll be writing in my base class constructor. So automatically, every time I need to launch it, right, the Chrome browser. So instead of creating the object, I'll be directly calling the constructor after creating the object. So that way I will be saving lot of thing, right? So you can able to see in the real time framework development. So that is the importance of the constructor. So primarily whatever class you are defining the important key or key code for setting up the driver and other stuff, that will be called every time. For those in the base class, you can create a constructor, so that automatically as and when you are creating the object, automatically that constructor will be invoked. Yeah, that collection is having lot of importance. Okay, in the real-time framework, suppose say yeah, you already see, right? In case you want to store the lot of variable, right? So you are using the list. You already seen the first second session here. 1 second. You could see this is the collection framework. In case you need to store more than one, then how you can do it? So list is a interface from the collection framework. Similarly, list, set, all this stuff will come from the collection framework only. So that way it will be helpful. Only the collection framework will help you to store that data which is more than one. I already told, right? In case you are creating an array, the size is fixed, but you do not know the size. So suppose you have already defined an array, size is fixed 5. Suppose say today you are working with some page, it can have 4 links, so it is fine. But tomorrow in case it is having 10 links, then how you can store the value? So it will give you dynamic space, the collection framework. So whatever thing you are getting it, right, you need to store somewhere as a temporary basis, then you can use them on the real time. So the collection framework will help you to give that space. And also you can store them temporarily after that in case you require to search it, sort it, all this stuff. So those are all the mechanism collection framework will give you to add, remove, concatene, everything based on the dynamic way, not the static way. No, yeah, that is the data type, but collection framework will not understand the data type until it is coming as part of the object. So data type is not an object because they do not belong to any class. They are the data type in Java, but collection framework will only understand the class and object concept. So in case I need to deal with the data type, then I need to convert with relevant wrapper class. That is the reason wrapper class came. So in the collection framework, you are able to understand here everything will not be data type. Instead of that, we will be calling the relevant wrapper class. Okay. So right now, maybe it will be more complicated. So in the last sixth session, the Java collection framework will cover. Then you can able to correlate this part. But collection framework primarily will give you dynamic space, right, to deal with the dynamic element. Okay, it can be any number of element, and based on the result, based on your thing, right, it will give you the space. So in case you are getting 10 values, it will giving you 10 place. In case you are giving 20, it will giving you 20. So you no need to define any size at all. and based on the relevant wrapper class of the data type, because data type will consider as a wrapper class. So in case integer, float, all this stuff, so based on that way it will giving you the opportunity or the paces. Because here data type only you can deal with only one element, right? Integer, float, only one element. But in case it's more than one element, how you can deal with that? It is not possible, because that your array will also give you, but it's hard coded, right? It's that its size is fixed. But definitely the real time I do not go with the fixed size. Okay, so say today just you are going to the movie theater, right? So movie theater is having some capacity, okay, big seat capacity. Suppose say 200, 100, 300 like that. So it cannot be filled more than 200, or in case it is less than 200, so they will be losing the revenue. But in the real time, in case it is auditorium kind of stuff, right, where, or maybe this is a free space, you no need to worry about the head count. Okay, maybe you can adjust some more head count as well in case its space is there. In case it is a less space also, still it will, just like the meeting, all this stuff is happening for the different political parties. Okay, so that is the concept of kind of stuff. But in case it is a I mean theater, so it will be only the peoples only can go there, the fixed head count. But I don't want to stop the head count. Okay, I want to go with any number of things. So based on the dynamic part, I want to just validate and store them. So the collection will come into the picture. Slowly you can understand the concept and the differences. Yeah, then there is a date and calendar function, calendar class available. So you already learned the concept from the string class. So there are a lot of methods is there, but date and calendar also required. Sometime, especially whenever you are capturing the screenshot, right? So in case you are giving any hard coded value, suppose say test1.png. So what will happen? Every time it will generate the screenshot, it will replace the existing one. But in case you want to create screenshot for 20 times, right? It is not possible to give 20 value every time. So what will be there? I will be concatenated with the current timestamp, today's date, and then the current timestamp, hour, minute, second. So that way I can generate it. So automatically you can create n numbers of screenshot with the name, because your second will definitely change every time. So that is the reason. Sometimes you need to also move your calendar, right? Okay, sometime you need to deal with your calendar, you need to print out the current date, time. So there are date and calendar class available where a lot of functions or method is there, you can use them. So the class date represent a specific instant in time with millisecond precision. The date class of java.util package implements, right, serializable, clonable, and comparable interface. It provides constructor and a method to deal with date and time with the Java. Okay, so first we will see how the calendar functions work, and then we will see how the date function work. Okay, let's comment out this code. So how can you create an object or instance? So because this is the calendar is the class, so I will be calling that one. I'll be creating object or instance, and this is the way you need to create it. Here it will be not new calendar. It will be calendar dot get instance. So that is the syntax from Java. It is coming get instance. Now you need to import, automatically imported the calendar class. You could see it is already imported package. Now if you want to print out the current time of your system, cal, that is the object of the calendar class, dot get time. Okay, you could see Sunday, January 29, it is right 8:25 1 second IST 2023. Now if you only want to get the year, date, all this stuff, you can do it also. So cal dot get, and here you need to pass the argument. You can use it calendar dot get. Here I can pass the argument like called calendar dot year. So it will print the year. Similarly, if you want to print the other thing, right, you can do it also date. Right, there are a lot of methods available. You can deal with that in the calendar class. 1 second. I need to give one more bracket, syntax error. You could see it is coming and is dead. Now say you need to set your calendar date, right? How can you do it? So cal dot set, there is a method available. You could see integer field and integer value, or I want to set that way. I want to set that way, right? So you can need to pass. First one is the year, second one is the month, and third one is the date. So suppose say instead of 2023, I want to say 2029, and second one is the month. Suppose say 10th month, it will be November. Suppose say date is 20. Now if you just print out same way, it will be showing you that relevant result. So you can set the calendar date. You could see Wednesday, November 20, right? Time will be still same, IST, and year is 2019. So here 10 means it is November month. It will start with 0. 0 means January, 11 means December, 10th means November. So that is the one way you can set the date. Another way, in case you want to just change some year, month, all this stuff, you can also do it. So how can you do it? So there is an option called cal dot add, right? You could see first one is the field and then second one is the amount. So what field you need to change? So it will be again, I want to change the calendar dot year. So that is my variable and that is my value. So I want to add 2 years, and after that you can just check it again, 3 years. So your year will change by 3 years, 2026 it will be now. Okay, you could see 2026 but same date. In case you want to decrease it, so it will be minus sign. Similarly, if you want to just change the month, date, all this stuff, you can just change it here, calendar.year, month, all this way. So that is the way you can work with the calendar class in Java. That is the real-time implementation you also need to do in whenever you will be developing some framework, some validation. Okay, but lot of important method is there, but these are the important method which you need to use it in the real-time framework development as well. Then another concept is date class. So how you can create the object for instance for the date class? So here I can something date is the class. I can create a object called date equal to new date. This is the predefined class in Java, just like the string class calendar date. So I need to import the date class from the java.util, not java.sql. Please always remember it will be java.util package. Otherwise it will not get the desired result. In case your import is wrong, you will not get the desired result. ISO, then that is my new variable, then I can just convert it to string so that it will print out. Okay, you could see same way it is printing it, but now my intention is to change it. So whatever is coming, right, I am not satisfied, because in case you want to deal with something, right, you customer is saying that some specific format, you know, right, in case you are working some US project, your month format is different, right, DDMMYY. In case you are using some other project, APAC project, your format is different, right, MMDDYY, like that. So how you can just convert it to the relevant way based on your requirement? So we can do it also. So I'll be creating a variable here for the string for my format. I want to do it in the same format. So I want to go with hour, minute, then second, and then the this part millisecond. Sorry, that part. Then dd. Then this is the month format I can give it. So you can search in the Google for the date format. Then you can try it. Then YY. So whatever format you want to do it, you can just give it here. Now you can convert it. So string format equal to, now there is a class called simple date format class available in Java, through which I can format my date. Simple date format, that is the variable I am creating, equal to new, and here you need to pass that format variable. Okay, now you can print it out. You need to import that class from the java.text package. Now you can print it out. So it will be printed in the relevant format. How can print it out? So this is the name variable, then dot, there is a method called format, and then here you need to give the date variable. Now you could see your date will change to a relevant format. You could see this is means AM or PM sign, hour, minute, second, AM, PM, date, DD, month format, and then YY. You could see 29th Jan. Now if you want to go for 4YY, right, 2023 you want to print out, so you can change it accordingly. If you want to go somewhere previous or before, like that, you can change it here, not be a problem. Suppose say that is my objective, that is the way I want to print out, so you can just change it only here, so automatically everywhere it will be displayed, reflected. You could see it is getting changed. So based on your requirement you can change it accordingly, and after that you can validate it, right? So it will be based on your organizational requirement or your customer requirement, right, or based on your own desire. Okay, any questions before going to the last two topics? Okay, so the next two topics is important, like the exception handling. So yesterday you see, right, some of the problem whenever you are having some array, but you want to just your array size is 4, but you want to add some element called fifth position, or you want to print something from the fifth position, so it will throwing some error. So what will happen in case error is coming or exception is coming? You already know this kind of exception might come, but in case you are not handling, the problem is that it will not only fail your case. So failing case is fine because I know that is the problem, right? But the main problem is that, so in case you are having 1000 line of code and something exception is coming at your 500 line, and in case you are not handling the exception, problem will come that your execution will stop at that point and remaining line of code will not be executed. That is the problem. So to solve this we need to handle the exception, so that exception will be triggered and test cases might be failed, but remaining line of code will be successful. Okay. So an exception or exceptional event is a problem that arises during the execution of the program. When an exception occurs, the normal flow of the program is disrupted and the program or application terminates abnormally, which is not recommended. Therefore, this exception need to be handled. So exception can occur for many different reasons. Important key of the reasons I have listed out here. Suppose say invalid data enterment, right? File, you want to interact with the file, but file is open status, right? Network connection has been lost in the middle of communication. So there are primarily three type of exceptions available in Java. One is called check exception. Means whenever you are compiling the code, at that time you can get the error. And runtime exception or checked unchecked exception, whenever you are running the code, you will be getting the problem. An error, something is not recoverable. Your memory is crashed, right? Your it does not have any space at all. Suppose say you want to save a file, but you do not have the space at all in your system, right? So these are the primary keyword try, catch, finally, throw, and throws will be used to handle the exception. So I'll be covering here today's session try, catch, and finally keyword. So what kind of different exception might come? Arithmetic exceptions means if you want to divide something by 0, you know that kind of exception will come. That's called arithmetic. Array index of bound, right? It is thrown to indicate that array has been accessed with illegal index. Suppose say its array is index is 5, your index is 5, but you want to access it like -1, -1, so it will throw the error, right? Index out of bound, or maybe the greater than the size of the array. So class not found, whatever class you want to call, that class is not exist or somehow removed. File not found, similar way, file not there at all, but or maybe the file location got changed. IO exception, sometime you need to work with the file, right? You need to find that exception might be coming, right? Interrupted, in case it is multiple thread you are working and some thread is not working, that time it is sleeping mode or maybe doing other processing, it might be interrupted. No such field. You already see, right? Whenever you want to interact with a particular variable, say, or field, right? Whatever was available in the class, later point of time it is commented or removed, then this kind of problem might come. Method, similar way, method is not found. Null pointer exception, whenever you are referring a member which is null object, definitely that will throw the null pointer exception. Just like the string which is having the null value. So in case you want to print out the size, so it will giving you the exception, null pointer exception. Number format exception which is not correct. Runtime exception sometime can be error. Index out of bound in exception means, so whether it is beyond that limit, so that is the different kind of exception might be displayed in your real time. Whenever it will be working, this kind of exception you might throw. So generally there are way, with the help of try, catch, and finally block, we can handle the exception. So the try block contains set of statements where an exception can occur. A try block is always followed by a catch block, which handle the exception that occurs in associated try block. A try block must be followed by catch or finally block. Okay. In case no exception occur, your try block will be completely ignored. Now see how you can implement the try catch block. So before that, just try to see how exception is impacting your code. Suppose say I want to write some code before exception, line 1. So in case you are having couple of lines before the exception happened, and after that you can have some lines right after the exception happened. And here it try to do some exception. Okay, here do some exception. Suppose say your objective is integer a, you want to divide like that. So you know it is not throwing error here currently, but whenever you are running your code, it is error, exception. Okay, now let's try to execute your code and let's see what the problem is coming. You could see, so whenever exception is coming, before that there will be no problem. Okay, no problem at all. But as and when exception is coming, it is failing, terminating your code. This is the line number, exception is appearing, right? What is exception? Arithmetic exception. It is coming from java.lang package. This is the exception name. and because of that you did not handle it, the next two line of code is not getting executed. That is the problem. Exception can come, but it should not stop your execution for the remaining line of code. That is your interest, right? So suppose in the real time, in case you want to execute 20 test cases, but in case suppose say one test case fail because of the bug or because of some other important thing. So do you want to stop the remaining execution for the remaining cases? No, you want to execute all, but here it is stopping you. So you need to handle the exception. So there is a try catch block through which you can handle it. So one is the default way. So select the line of code, right click it, okay, you can surround with, there's an option called surrounds with and try catch block. So that is the way you can surround the try catch block where exception might come. Okay, this is called default. Now right click and run. You could see exception is displayed, but remaining line of code is executed. That is the beauty. So you already know this is the problem there in the code, but still I don't want to interrupt my remaining code's execution. So that part I can analyze it, I can fail it, or I can raise the defect in case something is coming. But it will not stop me for the remaining line of code execution. So that is the way which is surround with try catch block. Now do it manually. Forget about that part. And you want to print out the details also. So how can you do it? So there is an option called try, then statement, then catch, exception name, exception handling code. So here I will be giving try, then here it will be there only, then catch, and here you can give the exception name. What is the exception name? Arithmetic exception. This is the exception name. You can create a variable e and then you can print it out as well, the exception. That is the way you can manually deal with the exception. So this is the exact name of the exception. You could see now it is handled beautifully and it is printed out the exception name by 0 as well. If you do not know the exception, sometime you can give it generic. It is called exception. So it will handle any kind of exception. Exception, that is the exception to handle any kind of, with the arithmetic, with the array index about null pointer, any exception it will handle. Okay. So I'll show you one or two more example of the exception, how you can handle it. But the next one is come as Java finally block. So along with try catch block, I can again give the finally block as well. So what is the importance of finally block? So finally block contains all the crucial statements that must be executed whether exception occur or not. A finally block must be associated with the try block. You cannot use finally block without a try block. You should always place those statements in the block that must be always executed. In the normal cases, in case there is no exception in the try batch block, then the finally block will be executed after the try block. However, when an exception occurs, then the catch block is executed before the finally block. Okay. So how can you deal with the finally block? So here I can just deal finally. Okay, you could see that is executed. So why finally block is required? Sometimes say you are want to open the browser setting, all this stuff, right? Open the browser, you need to suppose say after the browser is open, everything is done, you want to quit the driver. So there might be some problem might come, okay, but though your problem might come, still you want to quit the driver. So that is your expectation. So you always that code will come to the finally block. Okay, in case your validation is not correct, suppose say your expectation is you should come A, but it is coming B. But whatever, in case it's working or not, but always you should close your browser, you should always close your file. So that code your come to here. So whether it does not matter whether it is passed or fail, always you should close it. So those are the relevant code will come to the finally block. So Java finally block is always executed whether an exception is handled or not. Therefore, it contains all the necessary statements that need to be printed regardless of the exception occur or not. Okay. So Java finally block is a block used to execute important code such as closing the collection, right, closing the browser, closing the file, etc. Okay. Now the next question will come, in case your exception did not triggered, then what will happen? So try catch block will be ignored, but finally block will be always executed. Okay, let's see. So here I am dividing something 10 by 1. So definitely it is a valid statement, right? So this part will be completely ignored, and but finally block will still be executed. So that is the beauty of the finally block and try catch block. Try catch block will only effective when there will be any exception, and definitely you know, right, what kind of exception is coming. In case you do not know, then you can trigger with that generic way, so that you can catch that exception, and you can definitely after that you can work accordingly. But you don't want to interrupt the execution immediately exception is occurred, but you want to execute the remaining line of code. So that is the way you can handle the exception. Now let's give one more example. Say I am giving creating a integer array. So I'm giving something called 3. Size is 3. So 0, 1 and 2, right? Then I can want to add the value in the fifth place. So it will throw me the error, right? Because it is index array index of bound. Now if you're running your code, you could see. You could see. That way different exception will come. What line number? That is the line number. Problem is coming. Array index out of bound exception. You could see array able to see the error. Now how can you handle the exception? So similar way you can manually do it. Try. Catch and finally catch. No. So here what is the exception? That is the way I can give it exact name of the exception, or I can give it generic, but better sometimes it's better to give the exact name. It will depend how you want to handle it. You could see exact name of the exception is coming, and finally block is always executed. Now in case there is no exception, in case you want to add it at the second element, so it will be 1. So now exception will not be triggered, but still your finally block will be executed. So that is the way you know that some problem might come. So definitely you already as you will be experiencing more, right, you can able to see that what kind of problem might come, and you can handle those exceptions so that the remaining line of code will be not be impacted, and you can still use finally, so that in case you want to quit the driver browser files, right, close the files after your execution is over, so you can use the finally. So irrespective of the exception coming or not, so always those part will be executed. So I'll be reiterating once more, then we'll take the questions, any question is there or not. So as part of the conditional statement, if else, nested if else, and else if or if else if ladder and switch statement is available, right? So if only work in case only one condition is made true, but in case you are having two condition, if or else, you can use it. In case you are having multiple condition, you can use if else if ladder, and especially you can use switch statement. So you want to check the list of values equality against the list, you can use the switch statement. You can surround with break each and every case. So method is nothing but the reusable kind of stuff. In case the same thing you need to repeat it again and again and again, better to create the method of the functions, so that right you can update it only one point of time, and wherever it will be called, it will automatically that updated value will take. The built-in method like Java string method, date, time, calendar, all these methods available in the Java as part of the built-in method. As part of URA defined method, you can create some method with returning value or without returning value. Constructor is nothing but a similar to method, but the constructor will be called as and when you are creating the new object or instance with the help of the new keyword. So constructor will be same name as the class name. It should not have a return type. So wrapper class, right? The primitive data type, whenever you want to use them in the collection framework, that will not be you cannot use it because they are the primitive data type. So collection framework is always rely with the class and object concept. So first you need to convert them to the relevant wrapper class, then you can use it in the collection framework. There are a lot of important methods available in the date and calendar function. You can change the date or system date, all this stuff, right? You can convert your um, system date format also with the help of the simple date format class. And there kind of a lot of exception might come, right? Check exception, anti exception, error, you can handle them with the help of try, catch, and finally block. So try catch always surround with the catch, and finally block should always use with the try block. So in case some problem is coming, right, with the help of the try catch block, you can get the problem, but the objective is that remaining line of code will be executed always, and finally block will always be executed irrespective your exception is coming or not in the try catch block. So that's all from today's session. Thank you.